Okay, you caught me. I'm not a millionaire yet, but luckily there's tons of research, interviews, and books written about the habits of those who are. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the 7 key habits of millionaires. Hopefully you can get some value out of it and start to incorporate these habits yourself. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jess Franco. On this channel, we talk all things self-development, personal finance, and more. If that sounds interesting to you, please give this video a big like or consider subscribing. All right, let's get into it. The habits you develop can change your life for the better or for the worse, including when it comes to your finances. Let's be honest, in order to achieve your big financial goals, you're likely going to have to kick some bad habits and implement some new ones. And unless you're already a millionaire today, this is likely going to require some sacrifices and changes on your part. In the US, there's an estimated 22 million people who are millionaires. To put it in perspective, this is about 6.6% of the total population. Or it means about every 1 out of 15 people you encounter is a millionaire. And I'll be honest, this number is a lot higher than I actually expected. And on top of that, almost all of these millionaires were actually self-made, meaning they did not inherit their wealth. Rather, they created it themselves. A study by Dave Ramsey and his team showed this number is as high as 79% of millionaires are self-made. So all this to show that it is definitely possible to become a millionaire. In fact, more than ever today, millionaires are those who have consistently made good money choices over time. So let's dive into these millionaire habits. Habit number 1, they are avid readers. A constant desire to learn more is a key trait among the wealthy and successful individuals. Books are a great way to do this. I once heard that authors put all their best work, their best research, their best learnings into their books, and that's really stuck with me. Something that might have taken the author years of research or a lifetime of learning can be put into a book that's, say, 200 pages, and you can read that and glean all of those key insights. And even if you don't know any CEOs, founders, or entrepreneurs personally, reading their books can be a great way to gain access to them. I admittedly was a bit surprised to find out just how much successful people are reading. You'd think as investors, CEOs, millionaires, they just want to have the time to do that. Heck, even sometimes I feel too busy to read. But on the contrary, they recognize the value of reading and intentionally make it a key part of their life. One great example is Warren Buffett, who's an investor and a billionaire. You'd think he'd be so busy analyzing stocks all day or in meetings, but on the contrary, he actually is reading most of his days. He recognizes just how valuable reading is to him and prioritizes that over meetings and all of that. He's learned to say no to things that don't matter so he could have time to do these things that are important to him. If you want to try reading more, I have 3 quick recommendations for you. The first is to join a book club. The second is to keep an ongoing list of books that you want to read. And the third is to get a free library card or get the free Libby app. On the Libby app, you can listen to audiobooks. I use this all the time. It's just one of my favorite apps. Habit number 2, they take care of their bodies. Across the board, we see millionaires prioritizing their health, especially when it comes to exercise. Now, there isn't one right way to exercise, but typically we're seeing millionaires exercise 30 minutes per day. Once again, they are willing to take time out of the day because they know that putting time into exercising will actually help them be more productive and more successful throughout the rest of their day. This is something that I'm personally so passionate about. I grew up playing sports in high school, and then I later developed a love for just overall fitness and exercise. I try to exercise just about every single day. I obviously do it for the physical benefits, but then I also just love the mental benefits that come with it. It is really one of my favorite stress relievers, and I appreciate it so much. I really notice a difference on the days that I do exercise versus the days that I don't. In addition to exercise, we see millionaires leaning into routine in general. They wake up at a certain time of day, they eat well, they get enough sleep. Having structure each day can actually save them a lot of mental energy. As a result, they're able to put this energy elsewhere into things that are more important and that can make them money. One example of this is Steve Jobs, the previous Apple CEO. He is notorious for wearing the same outfit every single day so that he can save his mental energy and use it elsewhere. Habit number 3, they live within their means. So I don't know about you, but growing up, the idea of a millionaire to me meant private jets, glitz and glam, designer handbags. And this might be true for celebrities and the ultra wealthy, but it's not true for most normal millionaires today. Most of them are actually quite modest, and lots are living in middle-class neighborhoods. The book Millionaire Next Door actually dives into this concept and talks a lot more about that. Millionaires often spend less than they earn, leaving plenty of room for savings and investments. They don't feel the same pressure to keep up with the Joneses. Just because their neighbors got a nice boat or a nice new set of golf clubs doesn't mean that they have to. While most people fall prey to lifestyle creep the second they get a promotion or a little extra cash, millionaires and those who are financially savvy know that their dollars are better used elsewhere. Which leads me to the next habit. Habit number 4, they practice delayed gratification. Millionaires typically understand that long-term investing is better than short-term spending. They focus on investing. They invest in stocks, in real estate, in their 401k. They invest in assets rather than liabilities. This is actually one of the key takeaways from the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I highly recommend. But essentially, assets will make you money, whereas liabilities will drain your money. Millionaires use compound interest to their advantage. One of my favorite quotes is by Albert Einstein, who says, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." They understand that a dollar invested today can be so much more powerful than a dollar spent. To piggyback off the previous 2 habits, habit number 5 is that they avoid bad debt. So while millionaires understand the power of investing, they also understand the danger of bad debt. Bad debt in this instance, I'm referring to things that have really high interest rates or that are non-essential. Some key examples of this are a car, because we all know as soon as you drive a car off the lot, it actually loses value. Or credit cards, because we know that they have extremely high interest rates. When you have debt, it owns you until you pay it off. And unfortunately, you can't put this money into better long-term investments. One dangerous trap that people fall into is thinking that just because you can meet the monthly payments, it's okay. Meaning that yes, you can pay off your car payments each month. You can afford your credit card payments. But this really discounts how damaging it actually can be, because if you didn't have these monthly expenses, you could actually be putting this money elsewhere or into investments that can make you a lot more in the long term. Now, this is not to say that millionaires don't ever get fun things for themselves, but typically when they do, they use assets to pay for it, or they save up until they have enough cash to buy it outright. Habit number 6, they curate their network. We've all heard the phrase that you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And that is so true. Your network really determines who you become. As a result, millionaires are very intentional with their networks. They surround themselves with people who are as smart as them or even smarter. And as a result, they're pushed to not be complacent and actually to level up. When you surround yourself with successful people, suddenly you get a new idea of what's possible. Say if you're surrounded by tons of entrepreneurs, it seems much more likely that you'll be able to start a business. Or if you surround yourself with people who are extremely health conscious, chances are you're likely going to start to develop these habits as well. You'll probably start eating a little bit better and exercising a little bit more. In my personal life, I was blessed to be surrounded by friends who are extremely academically driven. As a result, I was much more motivated to study really hard so that I could do well on tests and in my classes. This skill set stuck with me, and throughout college, I was actually able to get different academic scholarships. Another common theme among millionaires is that they have mentors. Now, these can be mentors that are achieved through a paid program, or they can be organic mentors that are obtained through their network or their jobs. Mentors are an extremely valuable tool of the wealthy. Depending on the relationship, they could either provide super specific advice to your niche, or they can just provide overall general constructive criticism, guidance, feedback, and more. To offer an analogy, having a mentor is like biking on a nice, smooth, paved road, as opposed to not having a mentor, which is like biking on a bumpy dirt road. So in both scenarios, you're gonna have to put an effort to get from point A to point B, but in one scenario, it's a much smoother, easier ride. All right, on to our final habit. Habit number 7, they are financially literate. Several of my above points actually feed into this one, but yes, millionaires are very financially literate. They take time to learn and understand money, because when you understand money, you can find ways to make it work for you rather than you having to constantly work for it. They understand the power of investments, taxes, and other financial principles. They believe that you can learn financial literacy and that being wealthy isn't just a matter of luck. As I mentioned earlier, 79% of millionaires today are self-made, and they didn't get there by accident. They understand that they are in control of their finances. A study by Dave Ramsey showed that 97% of millionaires today believe that they are in control of their financial destiny. So this just shows the power of belief and putting your focus on the right things. In conclusion, changing your money habits can change the trajectory of your life. You might not be a millionaire today, but that doesn't mean that you can't eventually get there. As you implement these key millionaire habits, you'll start to see your net worth slowly creep up and hopefully one day cross that $1 million threshold. All right, that's it for today's video. video. If you enjoyed it or got some value out of it, please give it a big like. And if you want to see more videos about self-development, personal finance, and more, please consider subscribing. All right, see you in the next video.